what the black man and woman needs to know about the nation, about the world, about themselves. Muhammad Speaks It. To order your 12-issue subscription to Muhammad Speaks newspaper, 313-371-7033. 313-371-7033. Kareem Bean Pie is the grand champion of all bean pies. The rich flavor and smooth texture takes this pie to a whole new level of delicious. One bite and you'll understand why people all over the country call daily to order Kareem Bean Pie. 313-371-7033. That's 313-371-7033. Kareem Bean Pie.
This bean pie is delicious.
Muhammad Speaks presents Messenger Elijah Muhammad's Teachings by Minister Khalil Shabazz every Sunday from 2 to 3 p.m. at Muhammad's Temple of Islam, 12609 East McNichols Road in Detroit.
Brothers and sisters, prayer. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, all praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent, the Merciful. So, Master, day of judgment in which we now live, the alone do we serve, and the alone seek for thine help and aid. O Allah, please guide us on the right path of those upon whom thou hast spelled thy favors, not on the path of those upon whom thy wrath is brought down, nor those who go astray after they heard thy teachings. Say he, Allah is one God. Allah is he of whom nothing is independent, but upon whom we all depend. He begetteth not, nor is he begotten, there is none like him. And I bear witness that none deserve to be served worship or praise besides Allah, who came in the person of Master Farah Muhammad. And I bear witness that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is thy true servant and last apostle. Ameen. We'd like to acknowledge the brothers and sisters that extended us the greetings of Assalamu Alaikum. We have Brother Abdul Ali from Tampa. We have Brother Muta Kabir from New Jersey. We have Brother Minister Jasir Kabir from Virginia. And we have Brother Calvin Shabazz from Atlanta. And I'd like to say in the name of Allah, who came in the person of Master Farah Muhammad, and in the name of his last and greatest messenger, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, I'd like to greet the brothers and sisters with the Nation of Islam, greeting words of peace of Assalamu Alaikum. Today, we'd like to talk about the January 15, 1965 Muhammad Speaks, and it's called Elijah Muhammad. And we see in the picture or in the cartoon, it says, for the first time, the lost founds return. It says, and he shall turn the hearts of the fathers to the children, and the hearts of the children to the fathers. And it says, see Bible, 4th chapter of Malachi. And you see the messenger standing here with the Muslims, with their arms stretched out to the brothers and sisters who Muslims over in Asia and Africa. It's a cartoon. Now we want to talk about this dude. They got this new thing, this the Godfather of Harlem, and Malcolm X he in this movie a lot. This, at least the episodes that I done seen, and they all the time want to make it to seem like Malcolm X was the militant one and the messenger was the scared. And they always did in the movie, they were showing how Malcolm X had these rehabilitation centers. It looked like he had hospitals in New York, and the messenger came to look at his little hospital he had, and the messenger was complimenting him on his rehabilitation that he done came up with. Him, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, wow. And they was arguing about, you know what I'm saying, he was telling Malcolm he was being too militant. So we want to look at a little bit of history to see what actually really happened, because a lot of times this stuff has nothing to do with actual factual history. A lot of these movies is just based straight on fiction, but they use real characters. So first we want to go to California. And this comes from the March 6, 1964, California. And the title is called Paradox at Soledad. It says, Black Muslims fit well into prison rehabilitation program. Now this is 1964, when Malcolm was still in the nation over in New York. This all the way in California, talking about the Muslims rehabilitation program. It says the Nation of Islam, commonly referred to as the Black Muslims, is not recognized as a bona fide religious group in California's penal institutions due to the recent ruling by the state Supreme Court, and yet the group is represented at the Soledad Correctional Facilities by quite a sizable congregation, according to R.H. Danieli, North Facility Assistant Superintendent. It says during the luncheon held at the SCF officers' dining room yesterday, Danieli told the Californian the Muslim group is something of a paradox to correctional officers. He says even though the Muslims are not officially recognized, the group continues to flourish at SCF, all the while lending itself well to the philosophy of rehabilitating inmates. Many times, Danieli said, a surely uncooperative inmate will join the Muslims and do a sudden about face. Suddenly the man takes an interest in life and the world around him. He cleans up his life and begins taking an interest in training activities, Danieli said.
Yes, sir.
All praise due to Allah. So this all the way in California. Malcolm wasn't in California. Because what we got to realize about these movies is that because Malcolm X was not successful at all, they have to connect Malcolm X to the Messenger's success.
You're right.
Because when we look at this Muhammad Speaks newspaper, this Muhammad Speaks newspaper is that one that put the nail in the coffin for Malcolm X.
Yes, sir.
This one right here.
Yeah.
This one came out a month before Malcolm X was killed. And the narrative that we like to use in this new school stuff is that the Messenger said to leave Malcolm alone. That ain't according to the history, the documented history and the history that's documented with the Muhammad Speaks newspaper. Because what the Messenger said was general about hypocrites.
Yes, sir.
He said we don't kill hypocrites. He said we leave them to Allah.
That's right.
But Malcolm was attacking the Muslims.
Right. Yeah.
And the Messenger also said we fight with those who fight with us.
That's right.
So we can't just say a little bit of what he said and leave out others of what he said. Because that leave Malcolm alone stuff do not correspond with the Muhammad Speaks newspaper.
Yes, sir.
Because in this one Muhammad Speaks newspaper, if we want to talk all this, the Messenger said leave Malcolm alone. We just look at this one, and this is one. Malcolm X left in 64. This one Muhammad Speaks newspaper.
Yes, sir.
One of the titles of the Messenger has Victory of the Apostle. That's one.
Right.
Talking about Malcolm. Then the Messenger got another article in the Muhammad Speaks newspaper, and this was called on the Messenger Muhammad Speaks on the Fate of Hypocrites. That's two. Then this Muhammad Speaks got Malcolm X's head rolling in the street, and it got the article talking about when the Messenger went to Harlem. In this one Muhammad Speaks newspaper. And these articles are continued on other pages because this whole Muhammad Speaks newspaper talking about hypocrites. The whole paper. So when they be talking about the Messenger said leave Malcolm alone, I'm still waiting to read that Muhammad Speaks newspaper. The leave Malcolm alone Muhammad Speaks newspaper. Because when Malcolm left the nation, I think it was March of 1964, all the way up until he was assassinated, the Messenger ain't say nothing good about Malcolm X no more. Even up until his death of the Messenger. Muslims and the Messenger never said nothing good about Malcolm X. They never said he was the best minister the Messenger had. They never talked about they felt sorry for him dying. None of that. So we want to read what did the Messenger say on the fate of hypocrites. And this is the Messenger. The Messenger says, and this is in the middle, he says, this chief hypocrite took a group with him to build a mosque in opposition to me and filled it with all type of wickedness and disbelievers like himself. He wishes the praise of the people and not of God. He has said everything imaginable against me, which likely will hurt him and those who follow him more than he thinks. He wants the world to recognize him as a qualified leader. He should seek the recognition of Allah. Allah is the one who makes a leader for the people. He says this chief hypocrite is not with Allah. If he were with Allah, he would be with me. Since he is not with Allah, he cannot claim guidance from Allah. He has admitted that he cannot trust a religion and cannot trust a God who teaches when to act. He wants to act when he is ready to act, rather than depend upon a God who will act in his own good time. So this article right here talking about the fate of hypocrites. The messenger talking about this mosque that Malcolm X built in opposition. Now when they praise Malcolm, they don't never talk about this mosque that Malcolm X built in opposition to the messenger. But they always want to take the success of the messenger and give it to Malcolm, and make it seem like Malcolm X was really the militant one. But Malcolm X actually tried to build a mosque in opposition to the messenger. And he actually thought that this mosque was going to be successful. So we're going to look at this mosque that he built in opposition to the messenger, and all of the things that he was saying against the messenger. This one right here comes from the Democratic and Chronicles, October 4th, 1964. This is a New York newspaper.
Yes, sir.
So the title says, Malcolm X renounces racism. It says, Malcolm X has renounced the philosophy of racism and has denounced Elijah Muhammad, leader of Chicago-based black Muslims, as a religious faker. In too long, now imagine, you a Muslim in 1964. You knew what the messenger did for Malcolm.
Right.
You know what the messenger done for you.
Right.
You reading in this article where he called the messenger a religious faker. All that we just read that this Soledad person said about the rehabilitation,
Yes, sir.
all of the Muslims you done seen cleaned up,
Right.
and this brother who was the top national representative for the messenger telling the world the messenger is a religious faker. Let's just keep that in our mind.
Right.
It says in 2 long letters from Mecca, Saudi Arabia, to a friend in New York, Malcolm said he has embraced the brotherhood of man and shall never rest until I have undone the harm I did so many well-meaning innocent Negroes who through my own evangelic zeal now believe in him, Elijah Muhammad, even more fanatically and more blindly than I did. So he's letting it be known, I'm about to start talking against Elijah Muhammad and the Muslims, this religious faker. You know what I'm saying? So he goes on to say, he says, for 12 long years I lived within the narrow-minded confines of the straitjacket world created by my strong belief that Elijah Muhammad was a messenger straight from God himself. Now let's stop right there. He talking about he in the religious straitjacket of the messenger.
Yes, sir.
Now, he letting everybody know it was because of the messenger why I was saying all the stuff I was saying.
Right.
I was in his religious straitjacket.
Right. Yes, sir.
Because in the messenger's religious straitjacket, we don't eat hard.
That's right.
We don't smoke. We don't drink.
Right.
We don't fornicate.
Right.
That's the messenger's religious straitjacket.
Yes, sir.
All praises due to Allah.
Yes, sir.
But the way he talking about it, like it's something bad, I was in this straitjacket.
Yeah.
You know, Elijah Muhammad was telling me to say all this stuff and do all this stuff. Nah, I ain't in this straitjacket
Right.
no
Yes,
more.
sir. Yeah.
This Mosque Incorporated I'm about to build.
Yeah.
It's me.
Yes, sir.
But when they be talking about Malcolm, they don't be talking about that Muslim Mosque Incorporated. They always trying to make him be for what the messenger was doing.
Right.
Because this Muslim Mosque Incorporated was Malcolm's way to show everybody what he can do. Because in these articles, he telling everybody, I was in Elijah Muhammad's religious straitjacket. So the messenger was the one who believed. Malcolm was the hypocrite.
Right.
And the reason why he was successful is because the messenger put him in that straitjacket.
Yeah, that's right.
Let him know, this how you do it.
Right.
All praise due to Allah. That's what he's saying.
Right.
He was in a religious straitjacket. Straitjacket means you restricted.
Right.
So the messenger put restrictions on him.
That's right.
Telling him what he could do, what he can't do.
Right.
So why do they give this success of the nation to Malcolm?
Right.
If he denouncing the message, telling everybody he a religious faker. I was in a straitjacket for 12 years. He says, for 12 long years, I lived within the narrow-minded, he going in.
Right.
The message.
Yeah.
Now, he done already called him a religious faker.
Right.
Now he's saying a narrow-minded, the message.
Yeah.
You a Muslim.
Right. Yes, sir.
1964. Could you not us listening to it now?
Uh-huh.
It's like, wow.
Right.
Saying that about the message. So he says, the narrow-minded confines of the straitjacket world created by my strong belief that Elijah Muhammad was a messenger direct from God himself, and my faith in what I now see to be a pseudo-religious philosophy that he preaches. So now, all of this success he had, he cleaned himself up because of the message.
That's right.
His brothers was cleaned up because of the message.
That's right.
He saw thousands of Muslims cleaned up for the message.
Right.
Now he's saying it was a pseudo-religion. The messenger, a religious faker. He went in a narrow-minded religious philosophy. Now the whole religion is a pseudo-religious philosophy. So now he's saying, I'm no longer in Elijah Muhammad's straitjacket, and I don't intend to replace his with one woven by someone else. So now he letting the world know I'm on my own now.
Right. Yes, sir.
All that Nation of Islam stuff, that's that narrow-minded stuff of Elijah Muhammad. So I'm not with that no more. Now I got the Muslim Mosque Incorporated.
Yeah.
And that's why when the messenger was alive, they used to have articles that say, the hypocrites and the devil love Malcolm.
Right. That's right.
Because Malcolm denounced the messenger, he denounced Allah, and he denounced the religion.
That's right.
So how could you say now that you saw Malcolm denounced all that to say he was the best minister the messenger had? Because you a hypocrite too.
That's right.
You don't believe it. Because the Malcolm was the worst minister the messenger had.
Right.
He was a hypocrite.
That's right.
He turned against the messenger and denounced him.
That's right.
So if he would have died a believer, then you got an argument maybe. Say he was the best minister. But if he died a hypocrite, you don't give him credit for none of that stuff he did.
right.
All praise due to Allah. Because he denounced it.
Right.
The only reason why he was successful because the messenger believed.
That's right.
And the messenger put him in the straitjacket like he said.
That's right.
To tell him, yeah, you can do this. No, you can't do that. Because if it was up to him, he wouldn't have followed.
That's right.
Because he was getting tired of that religious straitjacket.
Right.
That's why when that Kennedy thing happened, he didn't want to listen to the messenger. Because the messenger had him in that religious straitjacket. He like, I'm tired of that.
Right.
He want to tell everybody what he think about Kennedy. So when the messenger telling them not to, he broke free from the religious straitjacket then.
Right.
But he was trying to figure out what I'm going to do. Because he knew then he didn't want to follow the messenger. Because the messenger silenced him for 90 days. Put in the Muhammad Speaks newspaper, he's still a good minister for me. He ain't no hypocrite. I'm just going to silence him for 90 days.
Right.
Then when they would interview the messenger, he wouldn't talk against him. He said the only reason why I silenced him for his protection is devils out here that might want to hurt him. Is devils out here that might want to hurt my followers. So he said I just silenced him to protect him. Not because I was afraid or nothing that was going to happen from what he said, but to protect him and my followers. I silenced him. But Malcolm didn't like that. So when he went to speak, he went somewhere with Muhammad Ali and started talking. Before his 90 days, then the messenger put him out. Now he free to do what he want to do. So this is Malcolm X talking about this Muslim Mosque Incorporated. It says, and this comes from the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, and this is June 16, 1964. It says, Malcolm is confident his mosque will prosper. He will attract converts as well as defectors from the black Muslims he predicted. He says, many are leaving the black Muslim movement, especially the militant and young ones who have gone out because of the lack of activity. Malcolm said, when I entered the Nation of Islam in 1952 in Detroit, there were not over 400 active Muslims following Mr. Muhammad, and he had 10 mosques. By 1962 to now, I don't want to sound like I'm bragging. No one could count the number of his followers. Explaining there is no way of telling how many followers he has now, Malcolm said. I've gotten calls for help in organizing Muslims in other cities, Philadelphia, Washington, Boston, and Los Angeles. And this shows his hypocrisy. Because now he's talking about, the messenger only had 10 mosques and only probably about 400 people. When I,
Right.
First John,
Yeah.
when I came with his little thing, his little pseudo-religion,
Yeah.
I was the one who made all these people join. Not because it's from God. Not because God came in the person that taught the messenger and the messenger taught me. And people just started practicing the messenger's religion.
Yeah.
But it's because of me.
Yeah.
All these people all over the country start accepting Islam. That's hypocrisy.
That's right.
That's why, once again, when the messenger had them articles, only hypocrites and the devil love Malcolm.
That's right.
Hypocrites did they say that it was because of Malcolm. He was so wise. And the messenger says in these articles talking about a hypocrite, he said they don't never want to give credit that what he says comes from God.
That's right.
I want to say it's because Malcolm was so wise. It's because Lewis is so wise. It's because this one is so smart. It ain't because it's from God. No, it's because I was the national representative. And I was the one. When I came in, you count how many people now. These teachings helped you. At best, you telling a lot of people about the Messenger's program, but it's the Messenger's program.
That's right.
All praise due to Allah.
That's right.
Because what the people never talk about is the documented history and the documented facts about the Messenger's program, because we can go even further. This comes from the Star Tribune, January 10th, 1964. It says, Malcolm X invited to explain therapy for narcotics addiction. Now we're going to go back to New York. We already went to California where Malcolm X wasn't at and talked about the rehabilitation in the prison. Now we're going to go to the city where Malcolm X was talking, in Harlem. It says the claims of the black Muslim movement of phenomenal success in rehabilitating narcotics addicts and alcoholics are beginning to attract professional attention. Malcolm X, the New York black Muslim leader, has been invited to explain the movement's therapy to the Negro Probation Officer Society of New York. He there to explain the movement's therapy. Not here to tell them nothing about him, nothing about how well he taught, nothing about how many people he got at the temple, but the professional people start recognizing all these Muslims who used to be addicted to narcotics.
Yes, sir. That's right. Yes, sir.
Now they narcotic free. So they want Malcolm X to come and explain the black Muslim movement's therapy. Nothing about you.
Right.
Because that was all his job. That's all our job is, just to explain to people who don't know the Messenger's program.
That's right.
And that's what the articles and the documented history talks about Malcolm.
That's right.
It don't talk about since the Messenger only had 400 people. Let's say that's true. Let's say the Messenger only had 400 people in 10 mosques, and when he left, he had 50 million black people. What they got to do with him? It's the Messenger's program
That's right.
that people see that caused them to want to accept the Messenger program. It ain't got nothing to do with how you talk.
That's right.
It was an article, I forgot to bring it. It was when the national representative, I think it was in 1969, was speaking on this talk show. When the Muhammad speech was covering him, they was talking about how well he was speaking. He speak real good. He talked real eloquently. But the truth of the Messenger stands alone.
Yes, sir.
Stands alone.
That's right.
Stands alone means independent.
Right.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Letting you know it ain't because of this brother's talking abilities.
That's
It's
right.
the Messenger's program he got from God. All praise to Allah.
That's right.
That's why the messenger said, I'm the messenger of Allah to you all.
That's right.
I'm not coming here trying to find no brother that can talk so well. That's why he used to take brothers who got 8th grade education.
Yes, sir.
Brothers who from the prison make a minister. Just tell him what I'm telling you to
That's
tell him.
right. Yes, sir.
That's all he wanted you to do.
That's right.
And that's all he wanted Malcolm to do. He just got popular telling people what the messenger told him to tell him.
Yes, sir.
So he started thinking it was him.
That's right.
But when you look at the documented history, they ain't never want Malcolm X. They just want you to explain the Muslims' therapy.
That's right.
What y'all doing to make these people get off narcotics?
Yes, sir.
So it goes on to say, psychiatric social workers in Harlem Hospital who have been struggling with widespread narcotic addiction also have approached Malcolm in the last year. So there's doctors, because the messenger tell us ain't no spook.
Right.
Everything real. Islam is mathematics. Ain't no spook. So they ain't coming there for no spooky. What y'all do? Y'all pray?
Yeah.
Y'all be praying 5 times. What is the therapy?
Yes, sir.
How do y'all do it?
Right.
They ain't coming for no spook talk like the Christians do. Like if the hog, I eat the hog, I just pray over the hog. No, it's real.
Right.
It's a message from God. It's mathematics. What do y'all do
Yes, sir.
to get these people off this? They ain't talking about they coming to the temple or nothing. They just saying they seen real life human beings getting off of drugs and they with y'all.
Right.
How y'all do it?
Right.
That's what they talking about. It says Milton L. Martin, a psychiatric social worker in the mental hygiene department of Harlem Hospital, admitted Thursday that he and his colleagues have been so amazed at the number of Muslims that they encountered who had been addicts that they decided to seek the assistance of the movement. It has been known that part of the hardcore of the black Muslim movement is composed of rehabilitated narcotics addicts and alcoholics. The black Muslims led by Elijah Muhammad are dedicated to the establishment of a separate Negro nation. And this is why everybody try to separate the messenger from all of this stuff. They don't want it to be a messenger of Allah kind of thing. They want it to be a wise guy thing. It ain't because he got it from God. It's because Malcolm was so smart. And once Malcolm left it, this stuff wasn't worth nothing. Because Malcolm ain't talking no more. But these doctors saw the messenger's program.
Yes, sir.
The correctional facility saw inmates. That's real.
Right.
That ain't nothing fake. So they wanted to know, how do y'all do this? So the messenger in his article went on even further to explain the fate of the hypocrites.
Yes, sir.
And this is something that they never want to talk about when they talk about Malcolm X. The messenger says, he says a hypocrite is one who first says he believes in Islam, then disbelieves, and seeks to oppose the messenger and those who believe in him and his God. Their punishment, says the Holy Quran in several places, is grief, regret, shame, and disgrace. I will never forget this hypocrite's hateful acts against me. It's a messenger.
Yes, sir.
Say, I'll never forget this hypocrite's hateful act. That's how the messenger talked about Malcolm. That's why Muslims said only hypocrites and the devil love Malcolm.
That's right.
Because when you read how hard the messenger used to speak against Malcolm, and then you go and tell black people that he was the best minister that the messenger had, you trying to undo the teachings of the messenger.
That's right.
Because you saying a hypocrite is the best minister that the messenger had. Malcolm is supposed to be a hypocrite as an example to who opposed the messenger, just like David had Absalom.
That's right.
That's how he's supposed to be talked about. He's not supposed to be talked about like he was the best minister the messenger had. Because when they talk about Absalom, they don't talk about he was no best. They talk about him, he's known as a hypocrite. That's how Malcolm's supposed to be known. When Muslims talk about him, he was a hypocrite. He got what he all praise due to Allah. He's supposed to be an example to all other Muslims. This what happened to you when you turn hypocrite against the messenger. That's why I like the documented history about this Malcolm X stuff. Because all this, the messenger told Muslims to leave. I don't like that. That sounds too sympathetic. Especially when you listen to what the messenger said when he talked about how Allah had a hand in Malcolm's death. That's what he said. After listening to all them lectures, after Malcolm was dead, they still talking about Malcolm X. Even after that temple number 7 was bombed, they put that on Malcolm's people. Did they stop talking about Malcolm? Because them people bombing? No. Said we catch you. We'll put a stop to it. We still gonna be talking about this hypocrite. And every article in the Muhammad Speaks newspaper talked about Malcolm the same way. He was worthy of death. And Allah blessed him to get death. They never talked sympathetic about Malcolm X. They even said you're supposed to burn up his book if you got it at your house. Oh, praise to Allah. How much more clear can you be? The messenger telling the Muslims, if you got his autobiography at home, take it and burn it. Don't throw it in the garbage. Burn it up. That's how they used to talk about this hypocrite. So the messenger said, if he is the last of the 22 million, I shall remind him of his evil and wicked acts done to me in return for the good that I did for him. He could not have risen up against me if I had not given him so much knowledge of Allah and his religion. When I made him a leader and a teacher among the people, he felt proud. He now thinks that he should be elected top man, but I am sure that he will be appointed the lowest man. Then he goes on to say, let the hypocrites be aware that there is a great chastisement in store for them, and their aims, purposes, and wishes will never materialize.
Yes, sir.
That's why when Muslims be talking that the messenger said leave Malcolm alone, that's hypocrisy.
Yes, sir.
Because the messenger said y'all in for a chastisement.
That's right.
So the messenger went to Harlem. After they was threatening to kill the messenger, he went to Harlem
Yes, sir.
with his army.
Yes, sir.
They went to Harlem, and when they was reporting on this event, because the one thing I like about the devil is he do report the news. He even put Malcolm X's people's names in there. So you can do all the research you want to do. So they had, it was June 28, 1964. The messenger went to Harlem, Malcolm X's stomping ground. And while the messenger was in Harlem, they was threatening the death of the messenger. So let's look at what the articles and how they reported on the messenger being there. This right here comes from the Detroit Free Press, June 29, 1964. It said, Negro foes beaten by black Muslims at Harlem rally. That's the headline. All praise to Allah. And when you read all of these articles, because the thing about reading articles is some leave out information, some add more information. So you get a lot of different information in these articles, but you piece them together.
Yes, sir.
So when you read the articles, they say what happened. They say they had 3 incidents with this thing. Said one of them, Malcolm's people tried to rush the door. He tried to rush the door. So they said the brothers beat on him.
Yes, sir.
Said 10 FOI carried him across the street and threw him up against some steel fence. Tell him. That's the document, and the Muslims was praising it in the Muhammad Speaks too. So we can't be acting like all the mess said leave him alone. Because when you look at these articles, get these Muhammad Speaks newspapers and see what Muslims was saying.
Right. Yes,
They
sir.
wasn't all in the closet with this old brother Malcolm stuff.
Right.
They was like, yeah, they should have met Muhammad's army.
Yes, sir.
See, the stuff that they used to say is the stuff we say now. We don't even know why they call it Muhammad's army. We don't know. We just repeating what they say. But they called it an army for a reason.
Right.
Because when they said he with Malcolm, that was all they had to say.
Yes, sir.
Because when you read these articles, Malcolm also was writing articles saying he had people in the temple getting the followers to lead the message. That's why it's good for us to read these articles,
Right. Yes, sir.
to see what Malcolm was doing to the message.
Yes, sir.
It wasn't no thing where like they try to paint Malcolm as this poor brother that the Muslims just turned against. And you know, the Muslims ain't never fought no white people. All they did was fight and beat up on Malcolm. No. Malcolm was threatening the death of the messenger.
That's right.
Malcolm had guns when he used to be rolling up on these brothers.
Yes, sir.
They had weapons.
Yeah.
Plus, they used to come to the messenger when the messenger would speak somewhere. They would be coming up there with signs, passing out all kind of literature. The messenger wasn't playing that.
Right.
Them brothers wasn't playing it either. So when the messenger went to Harlem, they caught one of them. Then they had this other person with a sign carrying it, talking about Muhammad is a phony. They caught him, put him in the hospital. They just documented. And Muslims used to talk about that all throughout 64. About how Malcolm talking all the big talk. But when the FOI catch him, he ain't got nothing to say.
Yes, sir.
That's what the messenger was talking about. You in for a chastisement.
That's right.
That's what he's talking about.
Yes, sir.
Fight with those who fight with you. All praise to Allah. He was coming against the messenger.
Right.
We got another picture. You can actually listen to this on YouTube. This Malcolm mud washing the messenger on stage. This brother named Gene Roberts. Another double cross. He was the same kind of hypocrite to Malcolm that Malcolm was to the messenger. Gene Roberts was Malcolm X's top security. He was a police sent in there to be against Malcolm.
Yeah.
That's what the message said. You won't have a friend.
That's right.
When you turn hypocrite. This is how we supposed to be talking about Malcolm. This brother right here in the video, Malcolm say his name. He was one of them brothers who was in the temple who was with Malcolm. And they caught him. Go listen to what Malcolm said they did to this brother. It wasn't no old black brother. They put in, he was the karate instructor, this brother. So when Malcolm was talking, he said, I recognize some FOI in the crowd. They was on Malcolm. Documented history. They was on him. He was a hypocrite. He talking against the message.
Right.
He got this brother in the temple. He the top karate instructor. Doing to the brothers like Malcolm was doing. When we catch him, go listen to what Malcolm say. Appointed to death. This brother right here, Gene Roberts, when they got in Life magazine when Malcolm was assassinated, he was doing mouth to mouth on Malcolm. They say when somebody's shot, the worst thing to do is mouth to mouth. They said that when he was in court in 71, it came out that he was an FBI agent or informant for the police or something. He told them that his job was to go up to Malcolm and check his vitals to see if he was dead or not. That's what he said. That's what his job was to do. This was Malcolm's top security. While he on stage, mud watching the messenger, Allah got his top security spying on him.
Yes, sir.
All praise due to Allah.
Yes, sir.
So when the messenger was talking about hypocrites, all this stuff he said in here was coming true.
Yes, sir.
All of this stuff. Say you don't have a friend.
That's right.
You don't have a true friend when you turn on Allah.
That's right.
The messenger was his only friend.
That's right.
The messenger was the one who told him about security.
Yes, sir.
They say that when he had his little meeting, he decided not to check people. Yeah. Gene Roberts told him. His top man now. You listen to him over the message. All them years you've been checking brothers.
Right.
All them years you've been finding brothers bringing stuff to the temple and stuff.
Right.
You've been checking. Now your top man, the man you trust. Because you know the religious faker. I ain't with that.
Yeah.
That pseudo-religion.
Yes, sir.
He told Malcolm, don't check him. And that was the day them brothers came in and shot. That's the message.
That's right.
He said you won't have a friend.
That's right.
And the messenger even goes on even further about Malcolm. Because this whole newspaper was talking about Malcolm and his hypocrisy. The messenger says, let the hypocrites be aware that there is a great chastisement in store for them. And their aims, purposes, and wishes will never materialize. The Holy Quran teaches that their grief will be so severe that it will prostrate them and they will be unable to even blink their eyes. And that which they fear will come to pass. What they actually feared is, number one, that they should be exposed as the losers who had lied. Number two, their punishment for wishing their grief upon the messenger and those with him. Number three, the victory of the messenger over them. He says they shall suffer the loss of true friendship, and they are not helped. They go to the devil for friendship, and he turns them down because he knows that they will not be able to help him against Allah and the apostle. Because Allah and his apostle are considered submerged into one.
Yes, sir.
So the messenger saying, these hypocrites is in for a chastisement. They ain't gonna have a friend.
That's right.
Gene Roberts wasn't no friend to Malcolm X. None of them brothers was. Because some of them brothers who was with Malcolm was in the temple too. They knew about checking. They knew about how the search procedure go, but they let Gene Roberts, this brother who wasn't even in the temple, telling you how it go.
Right.
And y'all been checking brothers.
Yes, sir.
Y'all seen how the security went with the messenger. Now you gonna let this brother come. That's what you get.
Right.
What you deserve. You don't have a true friend.
That's right.
So one of Malcolm X's, one of his aims, he said he was gonna undo all the black people from listening to the message. He said because he wasn't gonna rest until black people stopped listening to the message. Let's look at some of this history. Let's go to the August 5th, 1966 Cincinnati Enquirer. It called to end police control, black power proponents seek alliance with Muslims. It's a year after Malcolm. Malcolm dead now.
Right. Yes, sir.
The black power people want to come to the message. Because when you look at the history, everybody came to the message. Yes. Martin Luther King, SNCC, CORE, all them preachers, all that.
Right.
Eventually, by 1970, they all was there. They had been there before.
Yes, sir.
So this was 1966 when they first started coming to the mess. This is when them civil rights people started coming to the mess. We seen CORE wanted to come to the mess when Khalil Shabazz. This time, it's the Black Power proponents seek alliance with the Muslims. It says a coalition of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee represented the new Black Power faction of civil rights movement, and the black Muslims would be welcome, a SNCC spokesman said Thursday. We want to end police control of the ghettos around the country, and we believe this would be an effective way to do it, said Bill Mahoney, Public Relations Director of SNCC. Mr. Mahoney said Stokely Carmichael, newly named chairman of SNCC, plans to seek meeting with black Muslim leaders to further the cause of black power. It says Mr. Carmichael, 25, became chairman of the militant civil rights group about 3 months ago when John R. Lewis was ousted. He says, we want to explore the possibility of getting together with the black Muslims to work together for the black community, Mr. Mahoney said. So they be showing it like the messenger, or the Malcolm was the fire to the messenger. Wasn't nobody really interested. Wasn't nobody really interested in the messenger until Malcolm X. Them ain't the facts. The brothers from the civil rights movement wanted to go see the messenger. So they came and saw the messenger. All of them came, all of the civil rights groups came to see the messenger. So this right here is a picture of the civil rights groups with the messenger. This is Stokely Carmichael, and I don't know this brother's name, but this is the meeting that he had with the messenger. Then Jet Magazine had the week's best photo. It says, Black Power, a top advocate of black power, SNCC Stokely Carmichael brings greetings to black Muslim head Elijah Muhammad as heavyweight champion Muhammad Ali, a Muslim, observed. Chairman Carmichael Muhammad held talks at the latter's Chicago home. Now the one thing that you will realize about these little militants, at first they want to meet with the messenger. But the messenger was different from us. He wasn't with the My Black Brother stuff. I'm the messenger of Allah to you all. So I'm coming at you just like I come at this brother who was coming to the temple. What you want to do? You going to accept the what? So a lot of times they ain't want to accept the message. So that's when people start talking about how much they love Malcolm. Because now I can fake like, it's Malcolm X, and I can still steal the teachings of the message.
Yes, sir.
So when you see Stokely Carmichael, he was singing with Martin Luther King at first. This him right here, singing.
Yes,
Martin Luther King, this brother was the one with CORE who first went to meet with the message. This is Floyd McKenzie. This is Martin Luther King. Look at all of them singing. That's what they was doing before they came to the messenger.
Yes, sir.
Then you come to the messenger. You don't want to get with the program. Now you go join the Black Panther Party.
Yes, sir.
Some more militants who talk against the messenger.
Yes, sir.
Now it's Brother Malcolm.
Right.
Because they was the ones who started all that Brother Malcolm stuff. Then you start speaking against the messenger. Because we got more. This one comes from Des Moines Tribune. It's September 5th, 1967. This says, indicates a separatist civil rights movement. Now, by 1967, all of them young civil rights people was with the message. By 1967. That's why I say black Muslim influence shown at New Politics Party. The whole civil rights movement. But they give credit to Malcolm in the movies. But the documented history, they wanted to get down with the message.
Right.
It says, initially or by accident, the Negro civil rights movement now seems to be heading towards a separatist existence totally dominated by black but outside of mainstream of American life. Then it got a section that says Muslim influence. It says Foreman's pronouncement sounds considerably like the credo of Elijah Muhammad, the black Muslim leader who preaches a separatist doctrine featuring a separate state for black Americans. The black Muslims have been black power advocates all along, but have have garbed it with the religious cloak of Islam and a code of conduct that most American Negroes have not seemed anxious to accept. Long dresses for women, separate religious schools, abstinence from liquor, and the like. So the white man even know. These Negroes ain't with to stop drinking stuff, but they like that black power talk. So they headed towards this separatist talk that Elijah Muhammad taught. It says, now forming the SNCCs, H. Rap Brown and Floyd McKenzie, leader of Congress of Racial Equality, appear to be embracing many of Elijah Muhammad's tenets and traits, shun of their religious overtones. It says, for example, Foreman appeared in a white African tunic at the Chicago Convention. Again, like Elijah Muhammad, both Foreman and McKenzie were accompanied by bodyguards. Some of them also robed in African garb. They see them FOI. Shoot, them Muslims got them guards, them elite guards. Let's get us some guards.
Right.
Let's start talking. We don't want to talk to nobody but black people. Don't let the white man come in.
Right.
They even talk about it here. They roughed up the cameraman. They ain't even want them to come in. Copying off the message, the Muslims. But all of them did not want to accept the messenger. So they start speaking, start taking the messenger's teachings. And the Nation of Islam was different then than it is now. It wasn't no old my black brother stuff. When Muslims saw them taking the messenger teaching, see you meeting with the messenger. See you coming to the messenger's house. See you saying what the messenger's saying and you ain't giving him no credit. Wasn't no old my black brother, we need unity. This comes from the November 1st, 1968 Muhammad speaks. It says opponents of Messenger Muhammad will not survive doom. It says there are many today who profess to be leaders among the so-called Negroes. Many who speak eloquently against the injustices done to black man and woman and child in North America. These so-called leaders, Stokely Carmichael, H. Rap Brown, Floyd McKenzie, to name a few. She just named all the ones who met with the message. Say their name in there. That's how they used to be. There ain't no old my black brother. No. My black brother when you come to the temple. But when you stealing, no, he's stealing from the message. She says, teach the importance of re-educating black people in general, giving them a portion of the land here in America that their slave parents toiled for over 300 years ago, and separated from the devil, becoming a nation within a nation. So she telling everybody, they speak real good, talk real nice. They're talking about the injustices of black people, but they stealing from the message. Now, comparing them to us, go look at now, they had recently something with Dr. Sabi, with his son now, his son something now. Same brother who's tell people he was a Muslim. Tell people he got it from the message. Now they having this stuff with him, conferences, talking about his son something now, since he gone, now your son something special. Wasn't like that with the message. You couldn't take none of the messenger's teachings, and some Muslims see you taking it, and then they with the my black brother stuff. No, they letting everybody know it's the messenger. That's how Islam was, because the message used to say the Muslims are here to take over. All praise due to Allah. So when the messenger was with the my black brother stuff, you got to understand, it was when you was coming over. When you was in the church and when you was doing that civil rights stuff, they was banging on you, beating on you with the truth. Then when they saw it's not, Stokely Carmichael is my black brother. He want to come to see the message. Oh, my black brother, come on, brother. But then when Stokely Carmichael don't want to accept, and he taking the message, teachers go, ain't no more of that my black brother stuff. Oh, ain't no more of that. He the messenger of Allah. That's how Muslims represented the messenger as the messenger of Allah. It wasn't like he was just some leader to make some other leader. He was the messenger of Allah. His program is the only program for the black man. Only. Word for word. If you don't accept that, then just leave it alone. That's why the message said, take it or let it alone. That's how Muslims represented the message. It wasn't no, oh, well, you can take some of the how to eat to live and then you start your little thing and now we want unity with you. No, that's backwards. Because you don't believe that the teachings is from Allah himself. If this brother, the messenger done gave you how to eat to live, what Sabi gonna tell you? If he was a Muslim, what he gonna tell a Muslim? Only thing a Muslim gonna do is get mad because I see you taking it from the Hadith to live.
That's right.
That's all we can do because we practicing Hadith to live. We believe it's from a live person, the messenger that told us that he didn't have success.
Right.
What we need to say before?
Right.
We don't need to make him popular off the messenger's teachings.
Yes, sir.
Now he's something.
Right.
Now we telling black people about some herbs from Dr. Say. No, that's new school Islam.
Right.
It wasn't like that with the messenger.
That's right.
Then you have other other articles written about or other black people trying to hype up Malcolm X. This is Dr. Umar Johnson. Go listen to how this brother talk about Malcolm. Because the thing that people want to do to the messenger, they want to act like the messenger copied. Like the messenger copied off of Marcus Garvey and all them, because Muslims don't represent the messenger like Muslims was representing him then. When we was talking about it, we said we had no help until the coming of Allah.
Right.
That means Marcus Garvey, Noble Drew Ali, all that, but we don't say that no more. We act like we are, how they say it, self-saviors or something. We all saviors now. So, Noble Drew Ali was a savior. Marcus Garvey was a savior. Booker T. Washington. Hog eaters are saviors now. Because we don't represent it like the messenger did. You couldn't talk about with the messenger. They had followers of the messenger who used to be followers of Garvey. Speaking like when I was with Garvey, it was like this, but the messenger, when I saw the messenger,
Yes, sir.
I knew he was the messenger of God.
Right.
They even used to try to say that Marcus Garvey was talking about how a messenger was going to come. They weren't trying to say that the messenger was stealing from Garvey. Marcus Garvey's wife came to the temple. She didn't say nothing about the messenger was stealing from Marcus Garvey. But we do that now. Because we don't want to talk about the failure of Malcolm X. We can even look at a picture of Malcolm X when he was with the messenger. And then compare this picture to the picture of Malcolm X when he left the messenger.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
When he was with the messenger, he was clean.
Right. That's right.
He looked like a brother you could trust.
Right.
This brother looked like a brother who needs to reclaim his own.
That's right.
This brother looked like all praise to Allah. This brother don't even look like he never accepted the teachings of the messenger. He looked like a brother who needed Muhammad Speaks newspaper. Like brother Muhammad Speaks, bro. He don't look like no leader. How you gonna go from this? And then go from this, and now you woke up with this one.
Right.
With this one, you was in a pseudo-religion.
Yes, sir.
You was following a religious faker when you was looking like this. But now, you went to Mecca with this one.
Yes, sir.
And you don't follow the pseudo-religion. It's like, come on. No. But everybody want to steal from the teachings of the messenger, and that's why they talk about Malcolm the way they do.
Yes, sir. That's right.
They give the messengers credit to Malcolm. None of them talk about that Muslim Mosque Incorporated. Because that Muslim Mosque Incorporated failed.
That's right.
And the one thing we need to know, in my closing, we need to know what success means. Success means the accomplishments of an aim or a purpose.
Yes, sir.
Accomplishment. So if a brother tried to do something, Marcus Garvey tried. He didn't accomplish his aims and goals, so he wasn't successful. That's just how it is. He did a lot of great things. He made Pan-Africanism popular. That's what he did. Malcolm X, he tried a lot of things. He didn't accomplish his aims and his purposes. So he wasn't successful.
Right.
Noble Drew Ali, Martin Luther King, Medgar Evers, they weren't successful, but the messenger. In 1974, he said, I done taught you everything you need to know.
That's right.
Go for yourself as a nation of people. After he showed them what he built.
That's right.
He didn't just say that like, yo, I'm about to retire. You know, I done did all I need to do. No. After he done showed everybody in the world, this is what I built for 44 years.
That's right. Yes, sir.
Now, this is evidence that I done taught you everything you need to know.
That's right.
Go for a nation of people. All praise to Allah.
That's right.
That's success.
Yes, sir.
And since people can't point to no success with Noble Drew Ali, they can't point to success with Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali. They try to make it seem like the messenger was successful because of them. I don't like the messenger, but I like Malcolm X though.
Yes, sir.
That's how Umar Johnson and John Henry Clark and them steal the messenger teaching and add it into that Afrocentric stuff. That Afrocentric stuff ain't never did nothing for the black man.
That's right.
It's just what it is.
Yes, sir.
Well, brothers and sisters, we don't want to prolong the time. So I'll leave you as I came in the nation of Islam, beauty, words of peace of Assalamu alaikum.
Yes, sir.
Enjoying the show? Help keep us on the air. 313-371-7033. That's 313-371-7033 to make a donation.
Brothers and sisters, we rise for prayer. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. All praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent, the Merciful. So, Master's Day of Judgment in which we now live. The alone that we serve and the alone seeks for thine help and aid. O Allah, please guide us on the right path. Path of those upon whom thou hast bestowed thy favors. Not on the path of those upon whom thy wrath is brought down. Nor those who go astray after they heard thy teachings. Say he Allah is one God. Allah is he of whom nothing is independent, but upon whom we all depend. He begetteth not, nor is he begotten, there is none like him. And I bear witness that none deserve to be served, worship, or praise besides Allah, who came in the person of Master Farah Muhammad. And I bear witness that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is thy true servant and last apostle. Ameen. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us not to do anything to anyone that we wouldn't have done it to ourselves and treat everybody right, even the devil. Assalamu alaikum.